Well, well, well.
All right, we are on. Welcome everyone to Horsemen of the Apocalypse, also known as HotA.
Hey!
Let's take a quick second to do an audio check. If you guys in the chat can let us know if you can hear us, if we're coming through.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 30 seconds before I can even know.
Testing, testing.
Are we coming through on stream?
I know, holler back, girl.
How's
Testing,
it going,
testing.
everybody?
Are we coming through on stream?
I know. Horsemen wipe the floor with combatants.
Yeah, we're coming through.
Sparing-
All right,
Sparing no one.
Competence.
Wow.
perfect. Well,
I'm 30 seconds behind. That's
anybody?
nuts.
What's that? Oh, the delay.
Yeah.
Anybody who is returning, thank you for following us. We'll be here every Tuesday night, and then throughout this next week, I'm going to be streaming episodes from the past. So if anybody's missed some stuff or they want to find out
Nice.
what our players have done, it's going to be up during the week. Just click follow, and you'll be able to get notifications for when it's going. All of our mini games are up on the chat. Go ahead and throw in the commands. If you don't know how, you can scroll down the page to see how it goes. We have 4 players and 1 developer who's here as a NPC. We're going to be continuing our session 0 stuff as we're preparing to do our hard launch for the game. I hope everyone has fun. Feel free to shoot any questions in the chat, and we'll try to get to them on our breaks when we can. Ryan, do you want to kick off introductions, and then after everyone does introductions, we'll do a quick brief of what happened last week.
My name is Ryan. I am playing Strong Braid Broken Paw, the half Tabaxi, half Dwarven Paladin of Redemption.
Okay.
My name is Andrew. I'll be playing Rin Anaran, a high elf wizard.
I'll go. All right. Yeah, all right. My name's Kyle, coming at you from York, Pennsylvania. I'll be playing Felicia Nadigan, everyone's favorite halfling bard here. So, whoopity-doop.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you nailed it. I'm Dylan. I'll be playing the human fighter, Kurtz Glaskin.
Okay. And our fellow developer who's here as an NPC.
Hi, my name is Brian. I helped develop I developed most of the Bane lore and quest, and I will be playing Devis Longhorn.
This. My man.
Main man. And for anybody who's been following us, we just lost Lylesh, the NPC played by another developer, and she is gonzo, so she will not be joining us tonight. So let's get a quick recap of last week, and we'll jump right back into it.
Last week on Horsemen of the Apocalypse, we learned that our resident wizard knows how to do more than just wave his hands in a magical manner. As Kurtz unlatched his massive Zellwinder with blood in his eyes to make mincemeat of the colorful conjurer, Rin waved his tongue in a magical manner and quickly talked himself out of certain doom. Then we pondered over the 4 magical urns adorned with koi fish whose glowing bellies conjured something themselves, an old history of the koi being the descendants of dragons. Even though it has been ages and beyond since anyone has actually seen a dragon, there are old tales that the koi possess the spirits of ancient dragons. And perhaps these old legends have alluded to us why Cain has been after these seemingly otherwise mundane relics of the past. Lylesh made it clear that the best thing to do to get her husband back in one piece was to leave the urns in the designated drop spot and head back to Brandylac in hopes that Cain was a man of his word. Despite our misgivings, that's exactly what we did. With Cain and his cult in the wind, we headed back to Brandylac in hopes that soon we would be able to work a miracle on Lylash's dying husband. To our surprise, when we returned to Lylash's home, Drandlin had already been placed back in his bed, and so with the golden fleece of the shroud and the tears of the goddesses, a magical water we procured from the haunted falls, we laid the fleece over Drandlin's withered form, and with the help of a celestial chorus, Strongbraid channeled his healing light through the tears of the goddess as he dripped the water into Drandlin's yellowed and nearly dead eyes. With the fleece in place and Kurtz's voice booming through the home, a final tear was dripped into Drandlin's other eye, and witness a miracle we did indeed. All of Durandulin's sickness washed away, and in a blink of an eye, he appeared once again, a healthy gnome. Before there was even a chance to reunite Lylesh with her newly restored love, there was a sharp bang at the door. 3 holy warriors, working under the banner of Tavaria, the new high priestess of Candoria, came calling for Lylesh, accusing her of crimes against the divinity. Despite insistent protests from the party, our defiance of the men was quickly quelled. Lylesh agreed to go with Tavaria's men before blood was shed, and not even an apparition from Finley of Carvalia could stop them. Will we leave Brandylach to Cain and the Cult of Chaos? Will we find ourselves hot on the heels of some holy rollers ready to deal out some blind justice? Will we return the golden fleece to the shroud and accept the consequences for our impulsive delay? Find out right now on this week's edition of HotA.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
God,
Yeah.
fuck, I love those. Okay.
I loved your alliteration.
Gets me all in the mood. Gets me hyped.
Always
Fine.
reminds me of Dragon Ball Z episodes.
This time on Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
All
Need
right.
2 hours of screaming, guys.
So Yugi,
On it.
yeah,
That's it. That's the next 3 sessions.
yeah, at least minimum. Yeah.
Yeah. See you next week.
His power level's over 1 million.
Finley, what's his power level?
So let's see. We needed a long rest, and Durandulin also needed to rest. So I think that's officially where we left off. Was everyone was going to go to bed, and then in the morning was going to kind of decompress everything that happened and kind of figure out what the hell to do. So that's where we'll wake up, or we'll wake up. Yeah, we'll wake up right there. So it's early morning. Adventurers usually rise early. If you look at the window, you can see the large dewdrops that appears every morning here in Brandylach. And Brandolin is actually the first one up, and he's making breakfast. So everyone kind of slowly arises to some kawa smell and some sizzling meat, perhaps bacon, something of the like, cooking.
God, I hope so.
And he's just he's trying to be quiet, but the house is just filling with tons of aromas and everything. So as you wake up, you can just go about however you want to start.
So, sorry, just to kind of quickly put in, Rin is going to be awake far earlier than the rest of the party.
Right, because you're
Since he only's got to do that 4 hours. So he'll probably be helping him with breakfast, and he's probably going to take a few pointers and tips to learn some of the culinary.
The local ways of doing things.
Yeah, so he's gonna do that. It's kind of like a little thing where every morning he's just like, what do I do?
Right, something to kill time.
I'm just trying to perfect that.
Okay. So for the last little bit, he's maybe had you preparing, kind of like a sous chef kind of a thing. Like you do this thing, and then he's over there cooking. But before everyone's about to start getting up, before they do, he actually hands you the utensils and lets you take over the main cooking if you like.
Okay, yeah. Reynolds start doing that, but he's going to probably try to be a little bit more magical in his in his act. So he's going to probably conjure an unseen servant after like giving it a bit of time. He's going to have the servant probably holding the bowls and doing things in the air while he's kind of doing like a little flick here and there. Zap it, little spice, little sugar.
So while everyone's still sleeping, I guess he would probably obviously would talk to you during it. I guess introductions are in play. Welcome. Thank you for everything that you helped with. What's your story of what happened with everything?
It's a bit of a dismal tale. If you wanted me to go over the entire story, it's not something I think you would be able to handle so well. But suffice it to say, there was a lot of adventuring. We went up to the falls. We found the tears. We were fortunate enough to persuade the guardian there from decimating the party as Lylesh went, and I'm sure you probably know her also well. Looking, not looking before she left, she just went down and got the water for you, not thinking of herself.
Yes, that does sound like her.
Yes, but fortunately we did not die due to her carelessness. And we were able to eventually return back with not only the supplies that were stolen, those 4... I told you about the 4 urns, remember the koi?
Mm-hmm.
yes, magic items. I suppose we'll find out a little bit more about them later, hopefully. But I'm actually a little curious right now. I never had the chance to really ask you a few things since you've been here and were unconscious for most of it. How exactly did Lylesh get so caught up in this? I don't necessarily recall her mentioning how you got sick first and then suddenly everything went downhill.
Well, I ended up starting getting sick about the time that Pestilence showed up. And after everyone else's side effects had kind of diminished, mine just continued to linger and compound and get worse over time. And you know, my wife, she's a darling. She did everything she could and follow, you know, in her father's footsteps with arcane stuff. You know, she tried finding everything that she could. We ended up selling everything that we own just to try to figure out how to get a cure for myself. But it kept getting worse and worse. And man, I've completely lost track of time. There was a large gap where I just remember just, you know, moments. I sure hope she's okay. What happened to her? And you guys can start arousing whenever and joining or doing whatever you guys like.
I'd like to come downstairs.
Sure.
I don't put any of my armor on or anything, so I'm just wearing like, you know, like a kind of probably a sweaty looking tank top that's like probably stretched out too far, and some like boxer briefs that you know, we've been out traveling for a couple weeks that are probably also not very clean looking.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Rin, make sure to flip that over. You don't want that to burn.
No, of course not. No. Hey. And I just kind of do a quick snap as he puts the pot down and starts to do the flipping. I'm more supervisory.
But shuffle down the stairs and just sit at the table and listen to them talk for a minute.
Okay.
I do seem to think that there's been a lot of repercussions from the horseman's presence that we haven't really taken into account. I didn't notice that Pestilence had done something to you. Did you ever encounter him? Was he somewhere that you actually saw him?
No, I was out from the town. I was picking mushrooms. Quite a bit of the shroom connoisseur. I like to collect and eat and sell, and some of them have alternate effects that are quite fun.
You must tell me about those. I'm so intrigued to learn.
Yeah, I would love to show you the collection.
Oh, splendid! Thank you.
But while I was out picking, I was also eating on some tropics, and my personal guess is maybe the combination of the two. I don't know, but some of the pestilence stuff, everybody nearby had got affected, but mine ended up lingering, and it was not as sudden for myself as everyone else, but mine sure lasted a whole lot longer. And he's going to pick up a cup of kawa, and he's going to bring it over to Strongbraid. He's sitting at the table, and he'll just set it in front of you, and it'll kind of ruffle your mane.
Oh, Strongbraid, you're well, you're awake, but you're certainly not dressed.
Thank you, Drandolin. How are you feeling?
Much better, thanks to all of you. Please make yourself at home. Anything you guys can do. I owe you my life and so much more than that. Anything you guys need, please just let me know.
Rin's just looking at Strongbraid and like, are you seriously wearing this?
Dang, girl.
You can clean me up if you want.
No, Rin's not going to touch that with a 9.5-foot pole. So I mean,
Drandolin, we didn't do what we did for you to owe us something. Lylesh made it quite clear that she gave everything that the two of you had, just so you could be here standing and talking to us now. We don't want anything from you, but you don't seem too concerned that she's now gone.
Well, of course I'm concerned, but we can't change the fact that she's gone this moment, and as soon as everyone has arose, that's definitely the most important thing to talk about. There is something I was a little bit curious with, and he's going to kind of turn around and head towards a bookshelf, and then he's going to come back with a little rolled up piece of paper with a little feather sticking out of it. And he'll kind of hand it to you, Strongbraid, and he'll say, "Do you know what this is?"
Do I know what it is?
Yeah, you should.
Is this something Finley left? I don't. I'll open it and I'll look at it.
What did it say, Kyle? He's looking at
the
it.
lyric to Lylash's song that I sang by myself, and I hid it away in the house.
Oh, gotcha.
Eat it.
So I'll just start reading it out loud.
Okay.
You left one of Kane's feathers with it, or just a different random feather?
It was one of the the axe beaks.
Oh, okay. That's where That's what's confusing me so much about that. Like, I gotcha.
Just so many.
You remember the song? It's a bit more of a ditty to it, and I just quickly will cast Minor Illusion, and I'll have a chorus of Finley's starting to sing it.
Oh, just the voice will come out. So he'll kind of tap on the desk. Huh, that voice sounds a little familiar.
You should recognize it. That's Finley. Very, very skillful with his tongue. I've never seen
Lylesh.
It was Lylesh.
Yeah, that part of the song was quite catchy, I must admit.
I did it at Lylesh.
But I'm just reading it like stone, like I'm sipping coffee in one hand, and I'm just like stone cold reading it.
Rin's just kind of cooking to the beat of it now.
Drandel and I have to say, I'm not sure where this came from. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Lylesh was a very charming lady, so maybe she had a suitor in town. I
don't know.
Damn! I'm going to say that's more Kurtz than Finley.
But I did have a question about, maybe a few questions about your town here, Drandel.
Yes, sure. What can I do for you? And he'll kind of rearrange some paperwork and kind of clear the table off because it's going to be breakfast time very soon. Rin, whenever that stuff's ready, go ahead and start bringing it to the table, and he'll take a seat. And yeah, what can I help you with?
Well, when we met Lylesh, she was being chased down by some little bird folk. They were after her for something that she had escaped with or taken from them. And she had been their prisoner.
Prisoner.
Along the way, we learned that your wife has gotten herself into a little bit of a dark business, and the mayor of your town, Kane, seems to be doing some dealings with artifacts that may or may not hurt the people of the town here, Brandylac.
The mayor, Kane?
The mayor, Kane, yes.
That does not sound like the Kane I know. He's a very incredible leader. He does incredible things for our town, and we're constantly getting travelers who come through here, and he makes sure that everyone's treated with respect.
If I look out the window, does it seem like there are people outside walking around again?
There's always people, and he'll kind of like stand up.
I'm not like asking him that. Like if I.
Oh. No, there's still nobody in the town. No.
Nobody in the town.
Yeah, he's unaware of it, so he'll. You didn't say that part out loud?
No, I didn't say that part out loud.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's unaware.
I was just asking.
Yeah.
How long have you been gone, Drandel?
What days? I mean, I don't know. Table talk. It's been quite a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, a very long time.
As this is happening, a plate is going to start to hover in the air. The unseen servant is carrying things over to you. But Rin's just kind of going, have they not come down yet? Oh, just go get them. I mean, he's just telling the unseen servant to start knocking on their doors to wake them up.
Okay.
Fuck off, ghost!
Drandel, and I'm sure that you are still weak, but I don't want to hide anything from you.
Yeah, you know the truth. I think this is the time for everything to be disclosed to everyone. I want to iterate to you guys. I will not be holding anything back, but all I ask in return is the same thing. I would like to know what's going on. I want to get my wife back.
And now, well, perhaps we can wait for the others to join us then, and I'll take a big bite of whatever I had placed in front of me, and take another sip of my kawa.
It's a couple sausages, some eggs, a little bit of what looks to be like hashed up potatoes with some kind of slight spicing around the edge.
Is it any good, or is it burned?
It's really good.
Since Rin took over.
Well, Rin used some magic there, so I mean,
oh, okay, I got you.
It was fantastic until you touched it. No, okay.
Well, then I got bacon hanging out of my braids.
Yeah. Kurtz will come down the stairs, fully armed and armored, and just be like looking offset. Yes, Adam, I'm aware that he's awake, and I'm aware that it worked. We're not going to discuss this right now. Let's just put it to bed for now, and then he'll kind of turn and just nod to the party. And
oh, Kurtz, with your morning talking, I see. Yes, the breakfast is ready.
Adams, just head outside. We know that you don't have the appetite for these kinds of things.
As he kind of says that, I'm going to try and just mentally command the unseen servant to go over and start tapping Kurtz on the shoulder.
Fuck off, ghost! Adams, do you see it? Where is it?
Good morning, friends. Here, take a seat. We're about to have breakfast.
Kurtz is just kind of like, where's the ghost?
I'm sure it went up to get Finley.
Okay. Yeah, so the other two can be awoken.
So Finley's lying naked, half on the bed, half on the floor, kind of like stretched out as much as a halfling can be.
Okay.
Taking up, it's like a kid that takes up way too much room, even though they're like not even half the bed. And he'll just kind of like wipe his eyes and like smell the food. You know, like his hair is kind of like halfway up like this a little bit.
Like Ace Ventura style.
And, yeah,
Like a pompadour, but off to the right.
I'll dig through all my shit and pull out this like kind of light purplish red robe, kind of brush it off a little bit, like half awake. Just put the robe on, no clothes, just naked with a robe. grab my silver cup from the Red Dragon Inn, and I'll walk downstairs.
All done with the thing on the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh,
and then as I get like a little bit down the hallway, I turn around, I go back in, and I look through my shit again, and I pull out my little like bunny slippers, if you will. And
okay.
Come on. And then I'll come down with my slippers and robe and my cup.
Okay.
Half awake.
Devis, are you still in the building or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still in the building, and I got the knock of the unseen servant, and I come downstairs. I'm fully armed and everything, but as I'm walking down, you see a couple of squirrels on my person, one on each arm, and they're chittering back and forth, and I'm talking to them. No. When you're in a committed relationship, you need to talk about your feelings. Now, I want you to look her in the eye. And tell her how you feel, okay? And one of the squirrels starts chittering to the other one, and they'll start chittering back, and you can't understand anything you're saying. But I'm like, okay, good. Remember to use I statements. Well done. Hey guys, how's it going?
Ren's gonna be leaning into Strongbreed and go, which one's the girl?
Are these the same squirrels that were like attacking Marcus when we had him tied up to the tree?
No.
I think it's the one that's now biting the other one.
Yeah, those are the neighbors. They've got a whole lot of like civil issues, so calling like the squirrel cops on each other.
Well, it's good that they have you, Divish.
I try to help, you know. So I'll come in, I'll sit down, I'll start eating my portion of whatever breakfast and give a little bit to each squirrel.
Okay.
Good morning, gents. How fare thee?
Good morning, Divish.
Good morning.
Looks like you've made some new friends in the night.
Oh, there are friends all about the woods.
They didn't sleep with you, did they?
No. There's a tree right outside the window of my room last night. They were hanging out there. So, you know, when I woke up, I looked outside, saw them out there, just started chatting them up.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Rin's gonna kind of go back to the kitchen, just muttering, talking with ghosts, talking with animals. What's next?
Talking with gods.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for Strongbreed to start doing that.
Oh. Well, I don't know if I was going to start talking about gods, but I was going to inform Drandolin of what's been going on in his town since he's been gone.
Finley just sits down at the table, you got to kind of get the idea that he's not much of a morning person. We've traveled for a week just to get here, and like, maybe out in the woods, adventuring. Kind of like now that's kind of like a down moment, like when everything just kind of settles in on you. Then you wake up like half eyes awake, just kind of looking around, like looking at this cup, drinking out of it, even though it's empty. Fuck. Like I gotta get back up and go get caught. Like just like.
I'll get it for you, Finley. Just wait right there, and I just kind of go quickly.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. All right. All right.
What's your servant's name?
Oh, I mean it'll change every time. Right now, let's go with Bernard. Bernard.
I like it. Well, Drandolin, for the first time of the morning, will kind of have a little bit of a sense of urgency and kind of implore everybody to gather around. Like, grab food, grab some kawa if you want, but like, I think now is the time for us to all talk.
Kurtz, are you up to it, or did you sleep poorly in the tiny bed?
Oh, I slept fine. I'm plenty up for it. The question is Drendolin here to it?
Up for?
Well, I get the feeling you've been asleep for a long time, and times change, the seasons change, your wife changed.
Kurtz is a bit brash when it comes to his facts. I'd take it with a grain of salt.
Duly noted. Speak your mind.
Well, so it's like, here's what happened. We were running an errand for some persons of interest who we owe a favor for, and upon completing our errand, we were exiting a cavern when your wife ran up, being chased by a group of Kenku assassins.
Kenku?
Kenku.
I've never even seen a Kenku. I've heard of them, but I've never seen one.
Probably for the best. They're very friendly. Well, long story short, they were not very nice, and we taught them some manners. Most of them did not survive this encounter. However, on the way back to here, we learned some very interesting information about your wife, and that she had apparently stolen from them.